Hey guys, thanks for checking this out. We are so excited to share with you our reopening plan for live. Some of you are like, oh, cool, finally, right? Probably been wondering, what is church going to look like in this next season? And as we've taken time to pray and talk and just really meditate on what would be best for us as a church in our context, we're excited. We do have a reopening plan that's out there. And so if you're a detail person and you want to know what phase lines up with what we're offering as a church, you can go to our website at alivefamily.church/house to house, and that link is there for you guys as well. But can't wait to share some of the details with you guys.
Yeah, and hey, up front, we just want to acknowledge that some of you guys have a bunch of anxiety flowing right now as we're talking about reopening because you are not ready to reopen and you're not comfortable with it. We recognize that, we value that, and we're going to talk about that later. And others of you guys are in a different spot, and so we just want to acknowledge that, hey, as we talk about this, we recognize everyone is at a totally different
Yeah.
spot in their comfort level with re-engaging in society and connecting with people. And so we just want to on the front end say, hey, let's all have grace with one another. Let's
Yes.
have grace with people, in the community that, hey, this is difficult for all of us. We all have different comfort levels, and let's just be intentional to navigate this with much grace and much understanding.
Yeah, that's so good. And as you take a look at our reopening plan, you'll notice that we have three different types of gathering options as we move through the phases. The first one is online, which many of you guys have been tuning in, and that's not going anywhere. We will continue to be always on the online space for you guys to minister to you in the comfort of your own home or wherever you're tuning in. But as we go into the next phase, which we're really going to major on and talk about tonight, we're going to have a house-to-house gathering options for small groups of people to get together. And then obviously, as this thing kind of wanes and we get back into the later phases where we can be more open, we'll get back to in-person gatherings at a church building facility. But again, we're going to share a little bit more about house-to-house gatherings. We're really, really excited about
Yeah.
this model and what it has to offer for you and your family.
Yeah, totally. So, with the recent announcement of Governor Whitmer, we are now allowed to gather in groups of 10. And so I know there's some house to house gatherings that are planning to start meeting really soon, which is awesome. But in this phase that we're in right now, there's two options together. There's church at home, like you've been, or house to house. And so we've talked about house to house, but maybe you're like, okay, what is house to house? House to house gathering is a small group of people gathering for church. It's a mix of Sunday morning and small group together. And so every house to house gathering will include four core elements: worship and the message via YouTube or Facebook, some kind of food or meal or appetizers or snacks. You got to have food at these kind of
Come on now,
gatherings.
gotta have the food.
And then conversation, discussion, how's life? What did you get out of the message? And then obviously closing and prayer. And then you might be asking, okay, when are these going to happen? And hey, they can happen at any time. We really want these to be organic. You don't have to clear your group through us. We'd love to know when you're leading a group, but man, just start gathering with
Yeah, just
people.
get together with people.
Just start and making the invites and gathering. And so when could these happen? Hey, it could happen on Sunday morning at the same exact time that you've been doing church online up until this point. It could happen Sunday night. Maybe you're like, you know what? I've been enjoying Sunday morning alone with my family, so I'd rather keep that, but then gather in this house to house gathering on a Sunday night and worship and watch the message again with a small group. Or maybe you've got weekend plans and you're planning to go to the cottage every weekend, or you know that Sunday morning and Sunday evening isn't going to work for the summer, so you want to have your house-to-house gathering on Monday night or Tuesday night. These can happen at any point. Every crew or every small group, it's a house-to-house. Every house-to-house is going to look different, but they're all going to have these four core elements.
Yeah, we love that. It's super flexible. And again, who comes to these? Well, you gather with whoever you want to gather with, right? If you want to gather with some of the church people that you haven't seen in a while and that works for you and you feel comfortable with that, go ahead. If you want to gather some new people that have never even been to a live, but man, you've been telling them about it, this is a great opportunity to do that too. Whatever your comfort level is, and if they feel comfortable and you're comfortable, man, it's time to get together and worship in the same room.
Yeah, totally. And anyone can host too. You don't have to have gone through basics or have been at a live for a certain amount of time.
Right.
If you have it on your heart to open up your home, man, you
You can be a
are,
host.
yeah, you're more than welcome to be a host. And then some of you might be wondering, okay, what are the safety precautions? Is everyone going to be wearing a mask? And is there certain precautions for that? And we just want to say up front that we think it's going to work best for every group to decide their comfort level on this one.
Yeah.
We've talked with some house to house host leaders that have a health condition that puts them at higher risk. And so they are interested in wearing the masks, and they might even use a contact-free thermometer at the door just to make sure everyone at that gathering feels safe. Other people, maybe you're younger, maybe you're healthy, maybe you've been really safe and you feel comfortable gathering in a private home without masks and without the thermometers. But for sure, we want all of these gatherings to be intentionally clean and sanitized, and the social distancing and, limiting touching as much as possible.
Yeah, I love that. And then some of you are like, well, why? Why are we doing house to house? Why aren't we just staying online, or why aren't we just rushing into this wall to wall, shoulder to shoulder church service, right? This is really important. We need community, right? I think you all been feeling that, whether we acknowledge that or not. It's tough to just kind of be with the same couple people, right? We want to get out there. We're built, and God wired us to be relational beings. And this is important for our spiritual growth, to gather together physically, but it's also important for our mental health as well, as you guys know. And so we're excited to be able to have a safe and phased approach to getting back together in a physical meeting space. And this is the great next step, is house to house gatherings.
Yeah, that is like the most important why, is because, man, we need each other. Another why that we're going this route of gathering instead of maybe a drive-in service or different things is the community part, but it's also because the fall is very unknown.
Yeah.
We don't know the timeline of this pandemic. We don't know if there's going to be another outbreak in the fall. No one knows anything, right? Everything's unknown. But this house-to-house gathering model is very scalable, and it works with the unknown of the future. It's something that is sustainable in the upcoming seasons that are unknown.
And then the last, and I think oftentimes the most important reason why we're doing house to house is it's mission focused, right? Mm-hmm. The early believers, as we've been talking about in our Acts Like the Church series here that we've been doing the last 2 weeks, the early believers met from house to house and in the temple. Mm-hmm. So meeting in homes and small groups wasn't plan B. It wasn't the second fiddle option. It was just as important as meeting in the temple. Now, our temples are kind of closed right now, but that doesn't mean the church is closed or shut down, right? The church is alive and the church is growing because you and I are the church. And so let's gather in safe gatherings, right? Using the necessary precautions and our comfort level. We can get together. Our government says it's okay to get together in groups of 10. And so we can do this in faith, right? Not in fear. And my goodness, we can help fulfill the mission. We've always existed to help people know God personally and live for Him passionately. And so I would just want to say this up front. If you just want to get together with other church people you feel comfortable with, that we're not going to judge you or look down on you on that. That is awesome. Please do that. Gather. It's better to gather than not gather. But I also want to challenge some of you to be prayerful about this. When you're saying, who's my 10? Be prayerful. Maybe it's that neighbor that you always talk with at the end of the driveway, or their kids always come over and play in your yard, and they would be comfortable coming out on your deck and having a cookout and being over in this season, but maybe they never step foot in the doors of the church. Maybe they don't have a personal relationship with Jesus. I believe we have the greatest open door opportunity we've ever seen right now to reach new people for Jesus Christ. And you and I get to do it together. We get to partner together, and we're so excited to see what God's going to do in this new season through house to house.
Yeah, the attitude of these house-to-house gatherings isn't us four and no more. Yeah. It's open-handed. Hey, everyone is invited. And it's going to be organic. Maybe some groups, it's going to be the same group of people every Sunday until they grow bigger and then they multiply. And someone else is like, hey, I'll open up my house because we've got more people coming. We need more space. Other situations might be different people happen from different house-to-house gatherings, and it's a different group every gathering. Whatever that looks like, it's totally fine. We just are excited to start gathering. So what is your next step? Head over to alivefamily.church/house-to-house or text H2H to the number on the screen and take your next step in what this house-to-house gathering might look like for you. Some of you guys are ready to jump on. You're ready to start doing it this Sunday. Others of you are like, you know what, I want to wait to see the state open a little bit, and I'm going to start gathering maybe in a couple of weeks, maybe the middle of June, I'm going to feel more comfortable. That's totally
Totally
fine.
cool.
You follow what feels right to you. But hey, if you're interested in hosting, fill out the form online. If you're interested in attending a house-to-house gathering, but you don't know anybody in the church, you've just started joining online,
Yeah.
fill out the form online also, and we'll get you connected in a group that will really help you thrive.
Man, so I hope you guys are as excited as we are as we adventure in by faith into this new season of church. And I just want to say one thing. If you're not feeling comfortable to do house to house, that doesn't mean you're not a part of Alive or that this church isn't a fit for you. Online is just as real and legit as house to house as the physical gatherings will be. We're all family, and we all need a spiritual family to journey through these tough times together. So don't unhook. Stay hooked in whatever your comfort level is. We encourage you to do that, but we're excited to see what God's going to do and do a new and fresh thing through us. And so thank you guys so much for listening to this. Thank you so much for partnering and engaging your heart and your faith and your prayers in this. And I'm encouraged because what does the word say? Jesus is building his church and nothing will stand in its way. And so let's go out there and continue to have fun building the church and gathering in safe places. And so, Lord, we love you. And I think I speak for Erica as well as myself that we miss you dearly. And we cannot wait to be with you guys shoulder to shoulder, face to face. But until the meantime, let's continue building his church and gathering together online and in homes.